The vloggers that call themselves the Fighter Boys, that is Finn Snow, Kyle Jennerman, Brett Maverick, Fearless and Far, and Daniel Marsh, are hugely popular in the Philippines. Most of their subs are Filipino, but some foreigners still watch, and for foreigners thinking of traveling to the Philippines, we have a warning for you. Watching these guys can be a threat to your safety and can even get you killed. Yes, this is a harsh statement, but we're going to back it up with some facts. There have been a lot of bad news stories in the Philippines lately regarding Muslim insurgencies, communist rebels, murders of foreigners, kidnappings, and whatnot. And there's been a lot of talk about the safety of the Philippines. And we will say without hesitation that the Philippines is generally a safe country. But there are definitely regions of the country that are unsafe for foreigners. Southern Mindanao, Basilan, Sulu, Yolo, Cotabato, the ARMM region, or now called the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. These are dangerous areas. These are foreigner no-go zones, and this is a fact. This is not just an opinion. The Islamic insurgencies, including groups like Abu Sayyaf, are not a myth. Some of these groups are affiliated directly with ISIS, and some have welcomed foreign fighters into their ranks, sneaking into the Philippines through Indonesia or Malaysia. Some just fly into Manila, and then they travel down to Mindanao. These groups are real, they are violent, and they have kidnapped and murdered many foreigners in the past. This is well documented, but there have been many times that the Philippine Department of Tourism and the media hide and cover up news stories like this. For example, in 2015, when an Italian man was kidnapped in Dipolog City, there could be many more kidnappings and killings that aren't even well known. Some that are well known include the 2 Canadians that were kidnapped off Samal Island, which is right near Davao, and it's a tourist island, and they were later beheaded. The regions these bandits and insurgency groups operate are also well documented and well known to both the government, the media, and to locals. You'll often hear Filipinos telling foreigners, don't go down to Mindanao, don't go to some of these places. Now, not all of Mindanao, obviously, but there are some regions that are dangerous. These regions are under travel warnings, telling foreigners that they shouldn't go there as their lives could be endangered. And it's not just parts of Mindanao. There was even an ISIS sleeper cell just discovered up in Cagayan province in the northern tip of the Philippines. We are not knocking the Philippines. There are dangerous parts of the US and Canada, and pretty much every country has some areas that people would want to avoid. Like, would you want to travel to the ghetto areas of Chicago or Detroit, or the drug-infested downtown east side of Vancouver? I didn't think so. So ask yourself, would you want to travel in areas where ISIS fighters are hiding in the jungle, plotting their next attack, and waiting for the next careless foreigner to mosey on down into their regions? If you said no, then you're smart. If you said yes, then we suggest getting your head examined, and fast. But these fighter boys, maybe in their youthful exuberance, their feeling of invincibility, or in their selfish quest for shock value that would help make a name for themselves on YouTube, thus giving them more views and subs, they basically threw all caution to the wind and went to some of these very dangerous regions. We should also note that the Philippine Department of Tourism wants these guys to promote Mindanao. They are with them every step of the way, because the economy of these regions is the worst in the Philippines. The government wants to open it to tourism, which we already know is not always a very positive thing. So they are working with the fighter boys to promote these dangerous places. Not smart. This could easily backfire on the tourism industry in the entire country. How, do you ask? Well, think of the effect a famous vlogger getting kidnapped or murdered would have on the tourism industry as a whole. These vloggers could even name their vlog, Kidnapped and Murdered. We actually did expect this in the Philippines. The fighter boys went to the remote waterfall in Buda, Bukidnon province on July 20th, 2018. Bukidnon, also part of the North Cotabato area, is one of the NPA's strongholds, and they have shot foreigners before and are in constant conflict with the Philippine troops. This area is also home to ISIS, BIFF, and the ISIS Maute group, and did 3 bombings just near that area alone in 2018. This area is considered a no-go zone for foreigners, and even most Filipinos would never go there. Finn Snow uploaded a video on January 8th, 2018 in the remote areas around Iligan City. Iligan is full of ISIS sleeper cells, and it's very close to Marawi City, which was controlled by ISIS Maute for 5 months straight. Finn Snow also did videos in this area while this was going on in 2017. Fearless and Far on October 21st, 2018 uploaded a video in Cotabato City. The city was bombed just on New Year's and many, many times before. And there was 60-year-old U.S. Army veteran Michael Keith who was shot dead by thieves in Cotabato in 2017. Kyle Jennerman and Fearless and Far both uploaded videos in Basilan acting like it was safe just because the people smiled at them and high-fived them, but in reality it's still a stronghold of ISIS in the Philippines. And just a few weeks after Fearless and Far left, there was a suicide car bombing by a foreign Moroccan ISIS member at the same checkpoint he went to. Now this was one of the very rare times that they admitted to having security with them, but they lied so much about their actual safety issues just to make it look safer than it actually is. There are many other examples, but I think you get the point. One day, we actually called out Finn Snow on Facebook and we just asked him why he's promoting some of these dangerous areas. We took screenshots for proof. We kindly explained to him why it's not safe for foreigners to go to parts of Mindanao, and also how much over-tourism could hurt Mindanao and the people that live there. He clearly did not even read what we said, and we also did not just talk about safety, we also talked about how over-tourism is also bad for the Philippines, but he did not even mention that part. In our message, we gave all of our sources and explained it well. He is trying to ignore the facts now and blame us. He did not even address any points. He is now saying because he felt safe, it must be safe. This is total BS. Many people that go to places like Iraq and Afghanistan say they felt safe, but that doesn't change the facts. The facts are it's not safe for foreigners because of things that have happened, bad things that have happened to foreigners in the past, and they currently continue to happen. That is a fact, and that is why we feel it's not safe in parts of Mindanao. He is really too lazy to read what we actually said to him. He needs to read that to understand what we're saying. Okay, now this is total BS. It's common knowledge that there are parts of Mindanao that are the most dangerous parts of the Philippines and Southeast Asia. He could not even give any names when we said, says who? Because he just pulled it out of his butt. When we said, did you read the articles that would have shown what we were talking about? He just said, no need. But don't you think if you want to understand what someone is saying, you kind of got to read what they're saying? Look at what they said before you have an opinion. And there he goes again with the dumb stereotype crap. Look, man, you've only been living in the Philippines 2 years. You were a visitor there. Doesn't mean you know everything about the place. It's the people that have lived there all their lives, the locals. They are the experts. They are the ones that know where the dangerous areas are. He talks like he knows the country as if he was an expert living there all his life, but he doesn't really have a clue. He seems a bit naive about the place. Then he says he doesn't need education from a guy that stereotypes 24 million people, but actually he does need education. He is lying about many things, and if he even read what we sent to him, he would have seen that we have never stereotyped anything. We were quite broad. I don't know, what do you guys think? Is he being rude? You be the judge. He is lying once again. He actually did not just promote Siargao, the island that is getting destroyed by over-tourism, thanks in large part to the vloggers and the bloggers, but he also went to central and southern Mindanao and to places in the no-go zones. Think about this. It's actually against the rules of YouTube to promote dangerous activities that could cause death. So promoting these dangerous places kind of could be considered the same thing. These fighter boys have influence, and they need to consider the safety of all their viewers before deciding to vlog about such dangerous places. Potential newbies could watch their vlog and observe no dangers in the edited versions of the vlog. Thus, they could go there with a false sense of security, and that precisely is what we're talking about. That is what could potentially be so dangerous and get them killed, is when a foreigner comes there without any care in the world, without any worry because they think everything's safe, and they drop their guard. A false sense of security. Furthermore, the fighter boys need to do the responsible thing and always mention if they had security with them. Better yet, put this security and these guys that are their security detail, put them on camera. I wonder if they even care if someone who had watched their vlog came to the Philippines with this false sense of security thanks to them, and then ended up kidnapped or murdered. Because if they did care, then why would they act so careless in promoting dangerous regions? It's all for views and money. They want to make a name for themselves on YouTube. They want to gain more notoriety. There are so many people vlogging in the Philippines now, people have to kind of push the envelope. And this is going to be dangerous, and we feel that this is a bad idea. We should note that on their latest trip, the Fighter Boys did go to more safe regions of the Philippines, areas like Bohol, Leyte, Samar, and which is a good thing. But they also go to very remote areas, and remote areas in the Philippines, that's where foreigners usually run into problems. The regions are lawless, and there's not a lot of police presence, and like we said, if there is police presence, they're often corrupt. There's often rebel groups in the remote areas, and this is where the foreigners get into trouble. So going outside the tourist areas into very remote regions is dangerous in itself. But especially in parts of Mindanao where there are Islamic extremists and bandits that have done horrible things to foreigners and continue to do that. Thank you for watching.